Alright guys, spawning in the bottom right position of the map that is Belshir Vestige. We have the blue Terran player coming in for Millennium. It is ForGG. And spawning in the top left position, coming in for Evil Geniuses, a man that likes to play in Pro League. He's a very good Korean player. He is Oz. So, very, very high level in terms of game quality that we are going to see here. Two very powerful Koreans. Of course, like I said, Oz playing quite a bit for EGTL in the Pro League over in Korea. Very, very prominent player, taking some great wins off of some really good players. And he is going to be quite a match for this guy in the bottom right. ForGG has been a pretty consistent Terran player. He just hasn't had, too many big results in StarCraft 2 just yet. Known pretty well in Brood War for taking some games off of some very big players. Particularly just for being one of the few that could take a series off of some of these guys like Flash. But will he be able to get a bit of consistency here at DreamHack, at the DreamHack Stockholm Open? We will have to see. Barracks opening for ForGG. We could see him go for, in TvP, a lot of Terran players have been opting to go for fast gas builds at about 15 supply, and with a rally on this SCV, that is what he looks like. He's actually going to go for a fast wall-off as well to keep Oz from being able to scout him. And Oz, well, it's actually going for a pretty late gateway. This is a 16 or 15 supply gateway, so this looks like it's going to be a very fast expansion from Oz, but he wants to have the gateway just in case he needs some sort of defense. And this is a pretty interesting build. 15 gateway, 18 nexus is what it looks like. So Oz now planting that nexus down. We'll send his probe out to scout. Make sure, of course, there's nothing around here first. We'll throw it in the second pylon. And try to go see what ForGG is up to. Now, he does have that gas. He started at 15 supply, so he will be able to move into a reactor. Typically speaking, after 2 Marines, we do see reactors from Terran players. Into a command center, into a factory, but it looks like he wants to just... he's going to build a Reaper second. That's a very interesting play. Kind of just... it's kind of like delaying tech, but the build time of the Reaper, he is going to be able to get up a command center at a pretty reasonable time. Probe Scout is heading over for Oz to see what exactly ForGG is up to. Guys, if you don't know too much about ForGG's style, he's a Terran player known for timings, specifically for hitting his timings very well. If you haven't, you can actually catch ForGG plays, but he's been doing pretty well in the Acer Team Story Cup, actually. Just another tournament that I've been keeping track of, and he's really shown a lot of prowess in Heart of the Swarm so far. This could be a big tournament for him to break out in, especially considering that it is on his new home turf since he joined Millennium in Europe. But Reaper's going to come in here. He's going to do a bit of juking, checking out, sees, okay, natural expansion is done. This was a pretty fast nexus from Oz. Another pylon being set up. He's going to try to kill a probe. Wouldn't be bad, getting a probe kill or two. He's going to get scouting information as well. The Stalker is quite late due to the build here, but the Mothership Core is here to also poke away at the Reaper. He sees basically everything that he needs to see, except for that second gas. That can actually be pretty important. Reaper trying to grab another probe will not be able to do so, and he'll be forced to retreat for now. But robotics facility is going to start for Oz. This is going to keep him safe against anything like fast Widow Mines, Banshees, etc. Although no one ever really goes Banshee anymore in Terran versus Protoss, largely due to Nexus cannoning, and most people getting robotics facilities or Stargates, since both can now detect and can deal with Banshees pretty well. But Natural Command Center is done for ForGG. He is turning it into an orbital command. We see double reactor actually being added on. So he's going to go for a lot of heavy marine production very early. He's actually gotten this before his engineering bay and before his factory. So the engineering bay is on the way. He has not yet taken a second gas geyser, so he's going to go for a very fast stim timing. It's actually almost about a minute away. So he's going to be able to crank out a round of Marines or two before he... for the 7.5 minute mark. This is going to be a really fast stim marine push. Factory's still not started yet. This is going to be very interesting timing, and this is exactly what ForGG's known for. Oz, his build, he has a Sentry, a Zealot, and a Stalker. Very standard layout for this point in the game. He is going to be getting up Observers, and, well, by the time his Observer actually reaches ForGG's base, ForGG's plan will basically already be going in motion. He's not going to be able to do too much to respond to it. He's actually going to get a Twilight Council. Pretty interesting choice from Oz. He does not have yet a Forge, so it's likely going to be for some kind of DT play or a very fast High Templar opening. And the thing at High Templar openings is they're very, very flimsy. A Colossus works right outside the box, right when it comes out the box, but Templar need upgrades. You need energy for Storm, and now the Marines are coming alive. Excuse me, Oz is about to be pushed. I always think of Oz and Alive together. They both came from the same team before going to Evil Geniuses. But Factory is about to complete. We do have +1 attack on the way for ForGG. Continuing to produce these supply depots. He now just kind of setting himself up outside his main base, but now, ooh, goodness, this is going to be tough. The Mothership Core, of course, is there. He will have enough energy for Photon Overcharge, but he could kill a lot before that actually does its work. Stims forward, kills the Sentries, focusing it down. Is going to focus down the Stalkers. These are the expensive units. He doesn't really care about getting the Zealots. Time Warp to stop the Marines from charging forward, but he's actually going to kill this Mothership Core. Maybe, no, he just barely throws on a second Time Warp, so no Photon Overcharge, but ForGG, you know, he really doesn't do as much as he possibly could have. You know, trying to run into the main base cost him the rest of the power in his attack. And now the robotics bay is going to be starting for Oz and ForGG. He does have another big group of Marines ready, but once the Colossi get on the field, that is going to be a bit difficult to handle. The factory is swapping over now. The starport is on that reactor. We should see medevac production begin, and there it is. And it's going to be Blink with that Twilight Council. And going for Blink at this point in the game is going to make the Stalkers a little bit better at dealing with Vikings, but considering that it's delaying the Colossi as well, it's not. It's more of a harassing style. I'm not sure it fits terribly well on this map just due to not being able to blink over a large number of these areas, but Oz does see everything he needs to with his Observer. Medevacs are coming out. Does he have combat shield yet? Is a very important question. Yes, actually just finishing now. And he's going to go for a secondary push with his medevacs completing. The Observer does see this. And Oz is going to be very careful. His first Colossus is coming out, but more importantly, he doesn't have enough energy for the Nexus Cannon yet. He's still 25 away, so he needs to buy a little bit of time for himself. The Extended Thermal Lance is only now just starting to give that range upgrade for the Colossi. And without the Nexus Cannon, a bunch of Marines, the Zealot count is fine, but there are so many Marines here. He should be able to shoot through this, especially since 1-1's not done. He's just going to stem forward. He targets the Nexus, a bit unusual. Does he think he's going to kill the Natural? This is crazy. He does have a lot of Marines. This is too much for Oz to engage without his Colossus, but now he's going to throw some force fields. He wants to bait. Oh, ForGG is going to go for it anyway. I almost feel like this is a completely huge waste from ForGG if he doesn't kill this Nexus. He kind of just wasted a lot of time. He possibly could have attacked into Oz's forces before the Colossus completed. The Nexus Cannon will be activated, but all it loses are shields for the most part, and ForGG is going to be forced back for now, and a second Colossus is about halfway done. He's chrono boosting that out. 2-2 will be able to start very, very soon, though, as well as Charge on the way. So you do have a pretty standard follow for Oz. And the big thing that ForGG wants to do when you go for this kind of really fast pressure is keep the Protoss player off of a third base as long as humanly possible. Getting this third command center up for ForGG, he can secure an economic advantage, and the drop heading in towards the main base while he still has that force outside of the Natural. There's not too much here to defend the Natural. The drop is in the main base. It's ready. He is going to immediately pick up and run away, and at the same time stem the forces in towards the Natural expansion. There is a Colossus here. Zealot's warped in. He's going to pick off a Sentry. A very nice grab there. It's not a lot, but it is. You know, that's 100 gas down the toilet for Oz, and that's also no force fields. He doesn't have any Sentries at all right now, except the two he just warped in, and both of them only have about 50 energy, so he's very, very limited on force fields. If he gets into a fight against ForGG, he will have a hard time isolating the forces, especially considering a metagame where there's a lot of SCV pulls with Vikings against Colossi builds. So now moving on to take his third base, ForGG, very comfortable. There is a probe here to block this, but ForGG also has a Marine to block the third base of Oz, and Oz is going to move everything over there, try to make sure. No, he's not going to. He's going to send a single Zealot. Should do the job just fine. Throwing out a pylon to block this third command center from being landed. There is a Marine here. Might want to send a couple more to deal with that. And Oz, okay, now he's going to build the Nexus. I was going to say, he waited a little bit after killing that Marine to build the Nexus. But, you know, this is a pretty late third base. He's getting this established at about 14 minutes, and it won't be done until around 16 and a half. So, with ForGG having so much bio in this nice tiny supply lead and getting this third command center landed, his economy is going to explode very, very quickly, and this will give him a small time where he has an advantage in production, especially since he's now using that factory to produce Hellbats. Of course, Hellbats completely eviscerate charge lots, which Oz does have a good amount of. He's a pretty solid amount of charge lots, actually. He does have the 2-2 about to finish, but ForGG has actually been really on top of his upgrades as well. He's got the 2-2 about a minute away from completing. He has a large number of forces moving out towards this third base, and if ForGG can stop Oz from getting this third base up, this would be absolutely huge, and now Oz knows it's coming, but is he going to be able to deal with it? 4 Colossi on the field, quite a bit of area of effect damage. He throws the scan, actually misses everything. He sees the army trailing off towards the right side, but he has a lot of Vikings. He has about 7 of them, so really, really, really powerful. But does he have enough to actually kill the Colossi before they can kill his forces? He's moving forward now. The Zealots step into the Hellbats, and they're going to completely smoke those. But the Vikings just need to make sure that they don't take too much damage from these Stalkers. The Viking count dipping very, very quickly. The Stalkers blink forward to focus down the rest of them. The Bioforces are still good in good numbers, though. And now, with no meat left to protect the Colossi, ForGG could just stem up and try to kill these, but he's going to leave the Vikings behind to kill that, possibly dive towards the natural. We do have the Templar coming out for Oz, but that Colossus is isolated. He's going to move in. The Nexus Cannon is activated. All the shields actually weren't even recharged yet. How crazy is that? He's going to kill the natural expansion of Oz. These probes are left bare. The real question is, how is he going to be able to hold this off? Storm is complete. He has enough energy. One Storm goes on, a really great Storm, getting all of these Marines, but he's not killed them just yet, and kills the next one, and there's the GG ForGG, taking game number 1 in this best of 3 against Evil Genius's Oz. That was a pretty intense game. Very interesting build. I am probably going to try to do that on ladder after seeing ForGG do that. You know, he is a man of timings, and we just saw that in that game. And he going for, you know, it seemed like, okay, well, a lot of players that go for 15 gas will do, so you get to expand, but at the same time you can put on a bit of pressure. But ForGG didn't do that. He expanded, used a Reaper to scout at the 15 gas, and just got stupidly fast stim pack, and just moved in with those 12 Restore Marines, killed a sentry. And the thing is, when you kill a sentry very early against a Protoss player, you're not just killing a sentry, you're also forcing them to either not have a sentry or build another one. And that's more important because that's 100 gas. You know, that's your robotics facility right there. That's one of your upgrades. That's half a Colossus of gas. So we'll have to see what ForGG is going to do in game number 2, or if Oz can swing things back to a 1-1 tie. Guys, I'm Nathanias. You're watching the DreamHack Open 2013 Stockholm. Don't go anywhere.